And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to The Hook live edition. Not a pressure cooker because there's no real pressure here
And not your favorite
for
day
the
of the week?
Lakers, even as they pick at 35. Although, Aaron, you were
Yes.
telling me today that there is tiny little pressure. Like, they
What do you
do
mean?
kind of need to hit on this pick.
Oh yeah, no, this is an important pick for the Lakers because the Lakers are in a fairly unique situation where because of the salary cap space taken up by the three guys who make the most money. You and I have talked about on various shows. You and I have talked a bunch about how that requires you to turn the roster over with minimum guys all the time. So this is the chance for the Lakers to and by the way, this is also why it's positive for some of those second round picks. You can really sell it on you have a chance to play. Normally second round picks, it's kind of hit and miss if you're going to make the roster. And if not, I mean, even if you do, you're probably not likely going to have a lot of playing time. But we saw it with Austin Reeves last year. If you can play, and obviously second round contracts are going to be generally pretty cheap. If you can play at all, if you are even can contribute 10 minutes in an NBA rotation, this is a way for the Lakers to add young, cost controlled talent. So I think this one does matter. This is not a random run of the mill second round pick. Is my point.
Yeah, that's basically what I was saying. Is that like this isn't one normally second rounder. Not too much pressure on it. You can if you hit, cool. If not, it's a second rounder, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This one, though, like you're saying, they aren't going to have very many options outside of this to have this kind of opportunity at essentially a first round pick. Like this is the 35 is essentially a first rounder. I got to be honest. I woke up today not thinking that they would have access to this pick. I didn't think at all. I thought if they got into the draft, it'd be in the 40s. Huh?
It's because you didn't ask me last night.
Solid co-hosting there. You could have kept me in the loop. And
no. I
chose...
can. So it wasn't until late last night. But
yeah,
you gotta. There's certain stuff I can't text because I can't have it be. Yeah, I
oh.
can't have it. We don't necessarily want. But anyway,
no, that makes
no.
sense.
It is. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a really positive development for the Lakers.
Because I was anticipating all of the reporting to this point was in the 40s, like mid 40s even.
Yeah.
This is like I said, essentially a first rounder. So the intention when we went live was to try to recap everything to this point.
Yeah, my brain hurts.
I was good. I was ready to do so about 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
I was like, all right, I got it all lined up. We're
Right,
good. Not too much movement. And then everybody started drinking. Everybody started huffing glue. Everybody at the same time started doing all of the drugs. So I'm not going to touch the last 20 minutes because I think a lot of that stuff is still in motion, is what it sounds like, to the point where Jake Fisher even said, I don't even know. I think there's a 3-team trade.
So that one is we figured out that one is a 3-team trade.
Yeah.
With Kemba being routed to Detroit.
The biggest stories, though, you have Paolo Banchero going first overall.
Mm-hmm.
He was followed up by Chet Holmgren, who goes to OKC. Shocker of all shockers that OKC would pick a guy named Chet over a guy named Jabari. And then
here you go. Actually, my favorite part of it is I am dying to see him and Poku in the
just
stick figure,
wacky
white
arms, flailing
tower, stick figure towers, something. Yes.
So you have Chet and Poku are going to be the thin towers, as somebody put on my timeline. That was just a sensational tweet. And then you had Jabari Smith go third overall. And I got to say, like right when I saw him, I want to place a future bet on him winning Rookie of the Year. He's going to have the touches. Dude looked livid.
I don't know. He did look livid, but Jalen Green likes to get him up.
Yeah,
so
but
he gets him up.
Yeah, that's true. But they're going to win like 13 games next year, and I think there's plenty of room for both of those guys to shoot.
They're going to shoot
30 times a game.
Yeah. And they ain't gonna guard
So
nobody.
but yeah, that's the stories at the top of the draft, and then you had the Kings go with Keegan Murray, kind of a surprise there. They passed up on Jaden Ivey, who
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say when you were talking about placing futures, because it seems like for years and years and years, whoever the Kings pass on is the guy.
That dude, I was watching him. So today, essentially, my plan going into the draft was not to do too much work heading into it. And then the Lakers picked up a pick. So I was like, okay, I really got to pay attention to this because now I know I'm going to be on the air and talking to you about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the other aspect of the draft, like if I'm going to be talking about it live, I can't just talk about the Lakers pick and the situation surrounding the Lakers pick, so I got to talk about the guys at the top. And I watched Jaden Ivey highlights in Sacramento. I don't know what you're doing.
I know. I think
dude looks legit. He's a big guard. He's crazy athletic. Has a nice quick stroke too. I know they're trying to convince everybody that De'Aaron Fox is still like their future or whatever, and they traded away Halliburton.
Yeah, but you know why they traded away Halliburton?
What's that?
Do you know why they traded Halliburton?
Because they're the Kings.
No, because no one wanted Fox.
Yeah, and so they're trying to convince everybody that Fox is their path forward. And I gotta say, dude, passing up on this guy looks like a real bad option. I'd be down pretty bad if I was a Kings fan. Then you had the middle of the draft, and you had some craziness happen there where there was a second or a 3-team trade like you talked about that landed Kemba in Detroit, who is now going to get bought out. Jalen Duren goes to Detroit. The Knicks are moving around salary. They're saying to either try to have a run at Jalen Brunson, who I like his.
Although they're not there yet, they don't have enough space to
yeah,
offer him what it seems like he's going to get.
I like his game, but as like a secondary creator off of Luka, I don't know how I would feel about him if he's like your go-to creator. And then you've had Oklahoma City
backup for Karl Anthony Towns, by the way.
What's that?
Minnesota just drafted a backup for Karl Anthony Towns.
All right, so all right, let's reset here. And where are you at? So on my TV screen right now, the pick is in that Memphis is selecting.
Yeah, but Memphis traded with Minnesota, so they are.
Yeah, so they're picking for Minnesota.
Yes.
All right. Who is like tonight? Who would you say his kind of blown you away? Has anybody blown you away with what they've been able to do? What are you drinking, by the way? What kind of wine?
Malbec.
Malbecs, I think, have the highest floor of wines.
Oh, we're doing like who's their NBA cap? Isn't this what Raj does? Anytime there's like anything that happens in the NFL on Twitter, he needs an NBA comp.
I love a good Malbec. I love a good Malbec. I like it if it like grabs my tongue if I'm eating something a little spicy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was that kind of show.
Oh yeah.
I think actually, I think Detroit has done. I think Detroit has done very well.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, and OKC. I mean, I didn't have Chet as high, but everybody else does. I think for me, Chet is probably fourth or fifth in this draft. But I understand the athleticism, the length, the skill. I understand it. I have some concerns. But I think Detroit.
I'm a little concerned that he weighs like as much as my right leg.
That makes
me a little nervous.
That is a possible concern. And he did struggle in some of the higher leverage games against big, strong, athletic guys in college, which will only get worse in the NBA. But he may have the highest ceiling. I mean, because he just has some like physical gifts that just don't come along. I think Detroit has done well. And actually, I mean, I do think OKC has done well too. Just taking all of these swings. This is why they've been hoarding all of these draft picks, right? To take swings at people. I don't really know what the Knicks are doing. I don't really have a great answer.
So it's a day that ends in Y. It's a
Yeah, I don't know. But also, let me be careful here. But we were talking about this in the Slack, and I would caution people, absorbing Kemba to Detroit does not meaningfully impact their cap space if they are going to make a run at someone in
Yeah.
restricted free agency. They had
I'll say
44
who it
million.
is, Aiton, for those who are
There you
listening.
go.
But the thing is, like, does they just traded some stuff for a center? So like they're gonna
Sure.
they're gonna use
Sure.
max money on a center and then trade a center or trade for a center in the first round.
Yes.
And neither of those guys can really play the four.
No, no, not particularly.
All right,
But I think that
it does give you a
if it ends up
contingency,
working
though.
out, right? Like Durian certainly has fans throughout the league, so it's not like you can't get anything for him later. If you end up happening, but they had 43 or 44 million in cap space, and Kemba only makes 8 or 9. Actually, I think it's 9 this year. So I think I don't think this meaningfully impacts their pursuit there. Or theoretically, they have cap space for another free agent target if that is not the route they want to go.
Or trade, like if they
Also
miss
true.
out on, they can, if they want to acquire another asset or two to take on Gordon Hayward or something like that, they can still do something.
Yeah, they can be one of those teams that, like OKC, that can just accept somebody into cap space and grab assets for it. Yes.
A Russ, for example.
They are a team that could absorb someone into cap space and just take assets for it, whoever that could possibly be.
So I want to talk to you about this, and you're not sipping on Hennessy, so you can tell me that Malbec is delicious if you want to.
Okay.
All week, I would say, I have been kind of thinking about the direction that the Lakers could go in here. And by the way, Philly just traded their number 23 pick for Anthony Melton, somebody who I was like legitimately heartbroken because of my boy Mike Garcia, that the Lakers had an opportunity. I think they had 2 opportunities to draft Anthony Melton and did not.
He was a second round pick. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sixers are moving Danny Green and the number 23 to Memphis as part of the trade to acquire DeAnthony Melton. So that means that more should be on the move, right? Because Green's contract is more than Melton's.
Wait, say that again.
So Shams Charania.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. But what are you saying?
So he's saying that the Sixers moved Danny Green and number 23 to Memphis as part of the trade to acquire DeAnthony Melton. That would mean that they would have to be moving. Memphis would have to move some salary in that trade,
unless they have enough space to accept it. I don't know what Memphis's cap situation is.
They're young, so they might,
but they may have whatever the difference is. I also believe this means that Danny Green contract is guaranteed, or actually that's possible because if it's so the way it works, if it's completely non-guaranteed, then you have to guarantee it to be able to trade
it.
Mm-hmm. But if there's a guarantee for a certain, if there's like a 3 million guarantee or something out of the 10 million, I think it's fully non-guaranteed, but I might be wrong. But if there is a portion of it that is fully
non-guaranteed, yeah.
Okay, but it may be an answer to your question. If there is a portion of it that's non-guaranteed, only that portion of it counts in trading for salary.
That would make some sense.
So maybe that matches up with
Melton.
Yeah. But I thought it was complete. I thought it was completely non-guaranteed. In which case, I think they have to guarantee. If that's the case, I believe they have to. The 76ers would have to guarantee it
and then move them.
Yes.
And then, like I said, Memphis would have to, I believe, move some salary to make that work. I hope that. Yeah. So there you go. Jake Fisher, Danny Green's $10 million salary is now guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's fully non-guaranteed, you have to guarantee it, or else it has zero value in trade.
Can we just say it like on a very human level? Really happy that Green's salary is guaranteed after that injury. Green's a good dude, man.
He's
So
one of the
I'm
best.
really happy. I'm really
He's one of the
happy
best.
that is going to work
And
out for him.
if he can come back, at some point next season, he's joining a good Memphis squad.
Oh yeah.
So, and he'll be really good for them. He's a great vet. He's been through the wars. He knows what it takes to win a championship. He's played in a lot of high leverage games.
Fuck.
What happened?
Milwaukee is selecting Marjon Beauchamp with the number 24 pick.
Did you want him because you wanted him, or just because you like his name? You like his name or his game?
No, all right. So I had Ricky O'Donnell on my show earlier this week and asked about Beauchamp, and he said that Beauchamp wants to be this draft's Herb Jones, and somebody who like is entering the NBA, wanting to be good at the things that and having the tools to be good at the things that Herb Jones was really good at last year. Like that's the exact player that the Lakers really desperately need. So I was really hoping that he would fall to 35. Desperately hoping that he would fall to 35. But that was always kind of a pipe dream. Damn it, Milwaukee. Damn you. So back to Green though and Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
My other takeaway from that situation: incredible podcasting opportunity for my boy. like that dude.
Oh yeah,
that dude.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna be in the middle of this Warriors, Grizzlies, and then so you have the Draymond Green podcast going off, and then so they'll have their home and homes. Danny Green, and it just like walked into the perfect situation as he rehabs, and all the best to him as he does. So we are now at pick number 24. As I just said a second ago, Milwaukee is going to go with Marjon Beauchamp. And
wait, so no, this works because Melton just signed
an extension.
Yeah, so it's 4 for 34. So he makes 8, 6
so
a
that
year,
works.
so it's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, I like the move from Philly's standpoint. Melton helps them at a position that they really need a little bit of help. Defensive point guard. Him and Maxey, I think, can play together if they elect to go small. Melton helps.
Maxey ain't gonna guard you, and James ain't gonna guard you.
Right.
So, yeah.
Melton helps when he's out there with either of those guys.
He does. And the rumors are they've been shopping Thibault too. So,
which I don't get. I mean, I know that teams like actively ran away from him when he had the ball this year, especially in the playoffs. I understand that can cripple an offense, and that in a Daryl Morey organization especially, that would be something that they wouldn't. But that dude fucking plays defense like that. And when you have James Harden on your team, and when you have Tyrese Maxey on your team, like you need somebody to go out there. The cliche right now is he has that dog in him. You need that kind of guy on your roster.
Yeah, the problem is in very high leverage moments in the playoffs, you just you can't.
They aren't going to get into high leverage moments in the playoffs. They have James Harden on their team.
Touche. But I mean, that is like the secret to all of this: is you need guys that. You need at least a good portion of your best, 6 or 7 guys that are not a complete zero on one side of the floor, because teams will scheme stuffs, especially, the best teams in longer series are going to figure out ways that make you unplayable. And he's so bad on offense that, right? Like he's completely unwilling as a shooter in the I want to say like the Ben Simmons mold, but at least Ben Simmons is like an elite passer, he can handle the ball, get you out on the break, all of that kind of stuff, right? Draymond Green's a terrible shooter. He's more willing than either one of those two guys. But Draymond Green is also an elite passer and, screen setter and all that. You just can't have somebody that is so unwilling to shoot the ball and is just going to stand in the corner and do nothing, because then you're playing 4-on-5 all the time. And he is an elite defensive player.
I
But
think I would still gamble on him like being a like not. I would gamble on him being a willing shooter. I just don't think you find that kind of defense very many places.
you don't. You do not.
You know, so,
You
like,
do not.
it's
But
just-
again, like if you are a complete zero,
yeah.
then
No, I understand why
you
you're
get played
saying
off the
that.
floor.
It's just it's crazy to me that they're actively shopping him around the league.
And by the
I'm
way,
not-
if you're going to be a complete zero, you have to be so elite, and it better
Yeah.
be you better be a zero on defense. If you are an elite offensive player, you can
You
be
can get
a
away with
zero-ish on defense. You
Yeah.
can't be a zero on offense in the playoffs.
yeah.
The defenses are just too good. You can't.
Yeah. All right. So we'll stop talking about Russell Westbrook here, there, and move on
know
back
what?
to the.
Here you go.
Let's have a little bit of fun. Is there
Okay.
anybody's fit that you have enjoyed tonight more than everybody else's,
Oh,
other than mine? You know,
yeah,
'cause
yours is pretty great.
I look like a college English professor.
Do you have the
I should have
the
put some
patches?
tweed on
yeah,
here.
on the sleeves?
yeah.
Yeah, there have been some good ones. I mean, Banqueros is like I'm not really with the double-breasted thing, but the Purple
Yeah.
Rain I'm into.
Yeah. I liked that he tried something completely different. I liked it. Like the other person whose get up I really liked was dude from Arizona whose name I always blank on.
Oh, Ben Matherin.
Yeah. His the red and the coat and yeah, I like the
Tari
texture on the
Eason
coat
from
and all that
LSU
stuff.
was solid. The
Yeah.
was very solid.
I also like Beaucamp right now is walking up looking good. Like the
we got a little sparkle to it.
kind of the black on black with the
Yeah, with a
sparkle,
little
kind of the
sparkle to
Black
it. Yeah,
Panther.
yeah.
You know who that reminds me of? Which, God, he wound up being a really good player too. There was somebody who said he even did like the Black Panther salute thing.
Oh, when he got drafted a few years back.
Yeah, when he got drafted, I forget who it was, but I remember that fit. I was like, "Yep, that's it." You got to use a little purple when you do the. If you're going for Black Panther, though, you have to have a little bit of purple. The Black Panther, I have a. I don't know. Yeah, probably can't see it. But the I don't know if you saw Black Panther when it came out.
I did, yeah.
Did you see it?
Mhm.
That scene. I'm gonna try to turn this without knocking everything over.
Are we gonna? Do we have Mount Avery over there?
Yes. Oh no, Mount Avery.
Oh yeah,
is
yeah,
gone.
You have the
That like color scheme,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
light blues and the purples
Yeah.
and the blacks, like it's so freaking. I love that color combination.
I've actually, you know what I've been really into is how emotional the guys are getting and how
That was the next thing I was going to ask you.
yeah,
about.
how open they've been about the emotion of it. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I love that we're in a place now where the manhood, like the manly man, you know, suck it up. You know, it's funny. I was just listening to a stand up set that Bill Burr did, and he was talking about how like he was giving away his dog, and how like the restrained Catholic in him was telling him like, keep it down here, keep it down here, keep it down here. Oh God, the dog is looking at me. Keep it here. Don't you walk into the bathroom, cry for 3 seconds, walk back out and act like nothing is wrong. It's so unhealthy to live life that way. So it's great to see these guys in like the biggest moments of their life to this point.
I've
Just
also
be able to-
enjoyed, much like Planet Earth, but especially the NBA. Like in 20 years, the NBA is going to be entirely my color. I mean, the world will be too at some point, but
yeah.
yeah, that's been interesting to me and enjoyable.
I feel like I
Light-
really feel like
light-skinned
ESPN
family.
has gone out of their way to involve families, and there's a lot of like talk about the families being involved here, and like Jaden Ivey, right? They made
Yeah.
a big deal out of
Yeah.
the relationship he has with his mom, and you know
Well, they've
what?
been
Like,
doing that especially, I think, because they've been hitting that it's the
Title
50th
IX.
anniversary of Title IX. So,
Mhm.
do you remember when it was it the NBA or maybe it was the NFL? I don't remember. I don't remember. But a few years back, they kept harping on like all of the tragedy in all of the draft picks' lives. It's like, his dad left the family when he was 2, and his mom was a drug addict and like
Yeah.
has been in prison. I'm like, hold on, do we have to go with all this?
I think that was the NFL draft, and it became a meme.
Yeah.
Like it was just like every single pick was about how terrible they had it coming up. Blake Wesley goes to the San Antonio Spurs. Oh, the stuff about DeJounte Murray. Are you allowed to touch on that? Are you allowed to?
I could. Yes, I'll say what I can. Yes.
Not about like,
I'm
the
already
Lakers
sweating because it's so damn hot in my apartment. So why not?
You have central air.
I know, and it's on, and it is fighting for its life right now. I think it's underpowered for my place because it does a good job of maintaining a temperature. It doesn't do a great job of reducing the temperature. Once it gets up there,
you gotta.
Maybe I need to change the filter. I don't know, something, but it is.
You got to get those. The filters. The filter does have a big effect. So DeJounte Murray is apparently on the trading block for some reason, and John Collins is somebody that apparently they had some talks about, and I was just kind of confused on a couple things. One, I don't understand that from Atlanta's standpoint, not from like if you were in a vacuum and you could trade John Collins and stuff for DeJounte Murray, I would probably do that, but they have Trey. And I don't know that DeJounte and Trey can play together. That makes you really small in the backcourt.
No, I disagree.
It makes you so small.
I mean, DeJounte's like 6'5". It makes you thin.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like 6'5". He's also one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Which
for sure.
It like regarding our last conversation about James and Maxey, you need like Trey is worse than both of them. I mean, Maxey is awful. Trey is still probably worse than both of them. So being able to pair him with somebody that can really guard on the perimeter, I understand the thinking there.
So he's 6'4". He's listed as 6'4". That's bigger than I thought. I take back some of.
I mean, it is still whatever. Trey's 5'11", so 5'11" and 6'4" it's on the small side.
And thin,
but generally,
they can push around quite a bit.
But the small guard thing, that people talk about doesn't work. Whether it's Dame and CJ, or we can go back to Steph and Monte Ellis, like that kind of thing, is generally because they can get beat up on defense. And DeJounte Murray is not getting beat up on defense, so I do understand it from that perspective. And there's been a weird thing in Atlanta. Houston's trading their pick to Dallas, by the way. Doesn't matter. There's been a weird thing.
Wait, Minnesota is landing on Duke's Wendell Moore at 26. Houston is trading Wendell Moore to Dallas.
See, here we go.
Woj and Shams got to get their shit together.
No, it's probably a 3-team thing again, which is what happened last time.
They still got to get their shit together.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this a lot about the idea of being first versus being right. I forgot them. Oh, there's been a weird thing in Atlanta with John Collins for a while now. He's on a decent contract, but his touches, what he wants, his role in the offense has been kind of weird. Also, speaking of people not going to guard anybody, John Collins, and the combination, the fit, or the get along between him and Trae Young has been not great, it would appear, from the outside for a while. So it's been a strange relationship with John Collins and the Hawks for a while.
What's funny though is that like he was begging to stay in Atlanta. That's true. But like I don't understand a lot of what's going on there. I just think if I'm Atlanta and I am going to use my biggest trade chip, I wouldn't want to get somebody who plays the same position as the face of my franchise. That's not how I would allocate my resources. Personally.
You're saying if you were Atlanta.
If I was Atlanta, I'm not saying that I don't like that. Like in a vacuum,
if that trade were to happen, it is, in my opinion, it is significantly. I mean, look, DeJounte Murray is just better than John Collins.
Mhm.
So
And younger.
if it was just straight up, then that would be, I would say that put the pick aside, or put the position aside and the fit aside. I think that's a win for Atlanta, just because DeJounte Murray is better, probably significantly better than Collins.
So the draft picks that New York acquired from OKC in the number 11 Ousmane Dieng trade, they got a 2023 first rounder, protected first rounder via Detroit, a 2023 protected first rounder via Washington, and a 2023 first rounder via Denver. That's a lot.
Yeah, my brain hurts again.
That's a lot. I mean, I understand there's going to be some inflation with OKC because they have so many picks that teams are going to say, like, you have it.
Well, and look, they have, I think it's 17 or 18 first round picks like in the next 4 or 5 years. And you
right, that's what I mean. Is
you can't roster those guys. You simply cannot. So people have been waiting, like, okay, at some point you have to cash it in, and they identified somebody they really like, so you may as well. You generally think of cashing in the first round picks to go trade for a superstar up, like way up in the draft. But they clearly identified somebody they like. So, I mean, what else are you going to do with the picks? You may as well.
That's what I meant by inflation, is that like they're basically the rest of the league is saying you have the picks, you aren't going to use all those picks. So every time you push a chip into there, we're going to ask you, push another one.
It's also like a fascinating second act kind of the process, right? Like we're going to bottom out. We're going to be so bad. We're going to take on all your bad contracts for picks, and we're going to have so many picks. It's going to give us so much optionality. Like maybe we hit on somebody at 11. Maybe we hit on somebody at 2 or 3. We have so many bites at the apple. Like, I mean, it's a kind of a mixed bag of success for the 76ers with the process, but
yeah. Well,
not a lot of those guys left.
For OKC, they don't have any other real way. Like this is the second half of that conversation. I think we don't necessarily get to quick enough, is that they don't have any other real way of acquiring that type of talent, superstar type of talent.
You're saying OKC.
OKC, what did I say?
No. I'm just clarifying. You mean you're saying
I'm saying OKC as a market, they aren't going to go out and get somebody on, as a free agent.
No,
they might be able to trade for somebody.
Yeah,
they could trade for that player. Yeah. I think the thing that they're running
OKC
into
is
the
place, worst city in the NBA, by the way.
The thing,
and it's not close.
The thing that
Cleveland and
I
Sacramento
myself,
and San Antonio are laughing at OKC.
The part of it that I get, I would be annoyed with if I was an OKC fan, is like, how long are we going to be on this treadmill for? How long? Like when do I get to? Like we've been going click 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 click.
Oh, you're
when
going
do
up
I get to enjoy the fun part?
You're going up
of
the roller coaster. Yeah, the old school roller coaster.
Right. We've been sitting here going like in the upright position, just going click 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 click, and at some point I would like the drop off and to get to the actual ride. And I it looks like they moved a few of their pieces and turned them into the one type of elite player or whatever here, that there is somebody they see as elite, but
or at least an elite
it's still not even somebody that like if I'm an OKC fan, I'm like, okay. Can I get somebody I know?
OKC, I mean, there's still some goodwill from all of those Westbrook and Durant and Harden teams, right? They're used to being good, and OKC, the city is terrible, but they have good fans and smart fans, and their building is really loud and so I think they understand kind of their positioning in the NBA landscape.
Yeah.
And so, it is frustrating. I'm sure it's frustrating, but I think OKC fans probably have a good understanding of, I'm not exactly sure what the alternative is.
I mean, alternative, there is no, like, there isn't a word that strong. I don't think there is something, but
I mean,
I do think.
Shea is damn good. By the way, hey,
Well, but
hey
like
Alexis.
they
What's
just
up,
they just
Alexis?
said the. Oh yeah, hi Alexis. But they like they. There was rumors last year that Shea might not fit into their timeline. And it's like, what the fuck is your timeline?
Well, I know I kind of agree with that. I think that
What's
may
your timeline? If
I
if that guy doesn't fit, what does?
I know,
Who
but
does?
like, yeah, but Shea is already on his second contract, a
Yeah.
big contract. He's like a fringe all-star kind of guy. He's damn good, but like, you're not winning anything with Shea. They have, like, everybody else on their team is between 19 and like 22. So
Yeah, but I'm saying, but that's where I would say is as a, like, bring in an adult, like bring at some point you have all those chips, like, make Shea your timeline. That's not a difficult timeline to make
fine.
work.
No, that's fine. That is, I don't disagree with you. That is fine. But whom?
Russ. Russ is the answer.
The prodigal son returns, huh? You know what has been interesting to me, which has been like kind of hilarious. Let me say this so I don't get in trouble. All of this, like, I don't know anything about this. Let me just say that this is just like the irony or the
This is just an observation.
Correct. This is not like, we don't need this aggregated. I have no idea anything about this, but like all the talk and the speculation about what happens with Kyrie and then what that means for KD, and KD, like, if he would want out depending on what happens with Kyrie, all of that kind of stuff. The like devious, I say a lot. There's an old line from a Cedric the Entertainer stand up, Taking You Higher, I think it's called, which is from, I don't know when it's from, but it's probably at least 15 years old.
I'm going to be there when I'll be there.
He says, I am a cheerleader for foolishness. So I am a cheerleader for foolishness.
Uh-huh.
And so if it gets to that place where KD is actually wanting a trade, he's not going to have a lot of leverage because he has 4 years left on his deal. You know, the two places that could put together the best packages for KD?
OKC.
And?
The Lakers.
OKC and?
Is AD not a trade package for KD?
OKC and?
All right, let me think seriously.
AD is incredible, but if the Nets get to that place,
yeah, they don't.
They're not trying to win right now, so it's not going to be.
State.
Yeah, how hilarious is that, KD? You're going back to, and he can't. He's not gonna. He can't veto a trade. He's got 4 years left. He has no leverage.
I wish I was talking to somebody who couldn't catch a tampering
or
fine.
Golden State would be hilarious.
I wish I was talking to somebody who couldn't catch a tampering fine, because I want to have a conversation about who would blink between in a negotiation, but for
I will sit here and drink my wine while you have whatever monologue you
wish. Doesn't work the same. It doesn't work the same. Like, it's not even a monologue. I would. Oh my God, I would be so over the moon if they turn Anthony Davis into Kevin Durant. Oh my God. I would have, like, so if it was...
There is no reason to believe that Anthony Davis is available.
I know. But if Kevin Durant became available, just, just throwing it out there, just firing some dust into the universe. Do you not
find it amusing that...
Oh, so this whole thing has been hilarious.
Golden State and OKC theoretically have the best packages to trade. Like, young,
it's a solid attempt at a segue. Bring us back to something.
I just think that's as a cheerleader for foolishness.
Yeah,
can you imagine what would happen on NBA Twitter if KD went to either of those teams? That would be an all-time day on NBA Twitter.
Well, but like, OKC, he doesn't make any sense for OKC, because I mean, unless there's like another move where they bring in, somebody who can help.
Hold on, you just said you want them to get the guy to play with Shea.
I said something on Shea's timeline that they're
KD is
separated
on
by a
every time.
decade.
KD is on every timeline.
Yeah, I know. KD becomes your timeline, and they have the chips to make that timeline work. To your point, but like that's. I mean, it would be a lot of fun.
That would be fun, right?
To answer your question, it would be a lot of fun. You know, it'd be a lot more
I don't
fun.
think they would be good. I don't
Anthony
think they would
Davis
be
for
good.
Kevin Durant.
I don't think. I don't think that OKC would be good enough where it would be like really troubling to people. Like KD and Shea and like whatever pieces. It's a playoff team, but I don't think they're actually winning anything. So it's different than if he were to go to the Warriors. Right? What if it just like, no, you know what? I can't like say specific trades. That would, but what if that like big four got reestablished? That would be hilarious.
Yeah. I think it'd be more fun for the league. Like just as a if you were an impartial observer here, it would be more fun for the league if Kevin Durant and LeBron James were going up against Stephen Curry and the Warriors. That would be the league. David Stern is looking up and wondering how this hasn't happened.
This is a 2017 Malbec. 2017. It's a good year. It's a good year. Pour a little bit more of that.
Like if you're being a cheerleader for foolishness, that's about as foolish as it gets. That is like, you know, at the end of the night, you're basically you're there at the end of the night at the bar.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have like you have work the next morning.
I've never experienced that.
You have work the next morning, and you're at a bar,
Mm-hmm.
and you're saying, "All right, I should hop in an Uber.
Mm-hmm.
I should go home, hydrate a little bit, be ready for work in the morning, or
go lay down and drink a 7-Up, eat some saltines.
Yeah, right.
Take a couple of Advil.
Or I could really flip this table on its head.
Look at Draymond just hanging out in the draft room. He's been so successful with his previous draft picks.
Well, he's there getting intel for his pod.
Oh, fair.
That's just good podcasting.
You know who he really wanted to draft last time he was doing this? Jacob Evans. No, Jacob Evans. But yeah, but Draymond was the last pick that Draymond really wanted the Warriors to take. Jacob Evans. Do you remember him? Of course you don't. Because he was out of the league like 2 years after he was in the league.
Was he the guy who went to Utah?
No. Jacob Evans, Louisville, I think.
No. So Evans was drafted by the Warriors? Or?
Yes. Oh, went to Utah in college, you mean? Or for the Jazz?
Drafted by Utah. Who was the guy who was in Utah and did a dunk contest while he was in Utah?
Who was the guy that was drafted by?
And we're thinking of different players, but Patrick Baldwin Jr., the forward from Milwaukee, goes to your adopted, air quotes, adopted team.
My adopted.
So you're covering up a smile.
No, I don't. No, you know why I'm smiling? Because it's another light-skinned brother. So I like that. I'm telling you, the whole league. The whole league.
That Baldwin pick is an interesting one because he doesn't seem to fit any of the things that Golden State really values. Like, he's a ball stopper. Hey, Sabrina.
Hello, my dear. Welcome.
How
wow, Anthony really got dressed up.
Yeah, he did.
I asked the Silver Screen and Roll Slack, should I get dressed up? And Zane was the only one who responded. And I said, yeah, all right, fine, I'll do it then.
Cool.
I mean, by asking that question, you know the response, right? Like, you're looking for one person.
I wish
right?
I wish I would have done.
It's like on Twitter, like one like, and I'll get drunk tonight. Oh, well, there it is. And they like their own, right? Okay.
You learned my go-to when I had like 5 followers. Sabrina, Paolo Banchero, Duke alum, yet another highly drafted Duke player.
Number 1, yeah.
Yeah.
We've been talking about Duke number 1 guys a lot this week.
You're right.
5. Did Duke had 5 in the top 15? Is that right?
No. We had
No, I don't think it was
just
that
one,
much.
just one actually. Mark didn't go until 15, I think. So two, yeah.
Okay.
And then AJ
But
went
yeah,
right after
Banchero,
that.
give me your Duke breakdown of Paolo Banchero. I only watched. I don't
there
watch
may be
college
5
basketball.
in the first round, is what it was.
They
may have
definitely have
5.
4. Definitely have 4.
But they may have 5.
May
in the
have
first
5.
round. Yeah,
The
yeah.
fifth guy should not go in the first round. That would be a mistake. He should not be drafted. Honestly, that would be a mistake.
Watch, that's the guy the Lakers draft.
Oh my God! If the Lakers draft Trevor Keels, I'm out. I'm out.
That's what will break you.
Sabrina, would you say you would Keels over?
Oh,
You would.
I don't
Oh
know.
no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I love Paolo.
I'm wearing a dad jacket,
I'm,
so this
I'm
is
just
how
very
this works.
excited that he got to Orlando, where the fact that he is more limited defensively is not going to make as much of a big deal. Like, they just need a guy who can score. So, and he was so emotional about it. Like, I actually really enjoy watching the draft when these guys get worked up about it. Like, you could tell he didn't expect to be number 1, like, because after all of the smoke about Jabari going number 1. So, I don't know. It's just
I mean,
nice.
the good
Seems
thing
like
about Orlando
all 3 of
is
those
that-
guys were in the dark. None
Yeah.
of those guys seemed to know how that was going down. Like
Paolo
Jabari looked livid
Paolo-
about falling to
Paolo
3.
knew. Paolo.
What?
Paolo knew.
He didn't even like talk to them.
He knew. He knew.
All right.
Well, given that he knew, I thought he played it off tremendously well.
You think it was
I don't know.
overacted?
I don't know if they. They
was
clearly
just
didn't
like,
tell
all right.
Jabari. I think
They can't-
Jabari thought.
can't
I don't
have
think they
them
told
know
Jabari at all,
They were
yeah.
tampering.
I think it's interesting in Orlando. They have, like, for the 95th draft in a row, they have drafted like a 6'10" guy. The
But at least
difference is,
this is
at
one
least
of
this
ball
time he can
skills.
shoot. At least this
Yeah.
time he can shoot a little bit.
He can handle the ball. Like, he's actually offensively minded, which you cannot say about any of the other guys they took.
Has Jonathan Isaac sent him a YouTube link yet?
Hmm.
I
You know,
can't believe we've
I
gone
think
from Anthony in like Hawaiian shirts and fake sunscreen to this.
Right, the Zinka. Wait, Sabrina,
My
say hi
eyes
to
still have-
Alexis. Alexis is pretty excited that you're here.
Oh, excellent.
My
comments.
my eye has been twitching since those broadcasts. My right eye, like, it's still to this day. At the beginning of like when you and I were talking, Aaron, at the beginning of this thing, I was sitting here like, I promise I'm okay. All right, so let's actually answer this question. Alexis is asking it. Who do you have for the Lakers at 35? Sabrina, you pay a lot more attention to college basketball than I do.
Not Trevor Keels.
Sabrina's
wanted a-
exclusive scouting report. Not this dude.
Yep.
I really wanted the guy in Minnesota just took at 26. I really wanted Wendell Moore. I realize most of my college basketball knowledge is ACC based, but yeah. I think a wing would be
I
nice.
also liked Moore.
A wing would be
You think
nice.
who would be nice?
A wing just in general would be nice. So I'm on my cousin's monitor setup and I can't find my mouse, so I don't know how to get to the comments section.
Cool. Seems like it's working well.
Yep.
So best available. I'll just go here to best available, and this is on ESPN.
I was gonna say, whose list are you using? Because that's probably Jay Billis's list.
That's definitely Jay Billis's list if it's ESPN.
Well, they don't have dude went up to Dallas, so yeah, it has to be Jay Billis.
I mean, which means Duke players are going to be featured prominently. So Sabrina, this
Hey,
may
he
be the
didn't have
apocalypse.
Paolo as number 1 on his big board.
No, he did
He
not.
had Jabari.
Peyton Watson goes to
Oh my
Denver. Aaron, you and I were talking about this, and
Yeah,
I have
today, earlier,
never
yeah.
seen somebody as highly touted as Peyton Watson, yeah,
Yep.
and yet know zero about him. And I'm a UCLA guy. Like, I watched him play, and I was like, "This is their."
How did you watch him play is my question, because I watched a lot of UCLA this year and I didn't watch him play.
Yeah, so
Right,
that was
that's
my
what I
thing
mean.
too. Is I watched more, at least in the last, like towards the end of conference season, and then especially the conference tournaments, and then the NCAA tournament. I watched more college basketball than I have in several years.
Mhm.
Normally, I just kind of wait
Is this like
until
for your job, Aaron?
Yes. Normally, I wait until somebody will ask me a question about somebody, and then I go back and kind of pour through it. But for whatever reason, I watched a bunch more towards the end of this season, including a bunch of UCLA. And until I started like poring over it, doing some scouting stuff, I didn't know that this person existed. I literally
He
do not
was
remember
so
him
highly
playing a
rated.
game for UCLA.
A huge
Yeah, he was like a
coup
top
to
10 or
get
15
to
guy, yeah.
UCLA, right? And then
Yeah.
they just never found a use for him, which is stunning because, I mean, you'd think somebody with that level of talent could be, I don't know, find a way onto the court for like a Sweet 16 game. But they
No,
just
yeah.
relied so heavily on their starters at UCLA. You rarely saw anybody off the bench there.
It's just wild though. Like, what are they drafting based on? Is it just workout? And even now, like the
no,
workouts,
like part of it
people are
is
working out
pedigree,
less.
part of it is
pedigree,
pedigree,
yeah.
part of it is tools, and it depends where. So teams this late, generally, not always, but generally this late in the first round are generally some of the better teams. Not in this case specifically, but generally that's the case. And so a lot of times there's two kind of plans. It can be like we need somebody cheap that can play now and just give us some rotation minutes. That's the situation that the Lakers are in, probably. And then sometimes it's we already have our team set, so we may as well take a home run swing on somebody with that high school pedigree and with the tools and all of that. There's kind of two divergent things, and this is obviously a long-term home run swing kind of play.
I saw somebody compare Peyton Watson to like Brandon Boston last year, where he was so highly recruited coming into Kentucky, did not really have a great season there, but like there's a reason why a program like Kentucky would take a chance on him. And
yes,
yeah,
I mean, like, look, when people are top 10 in their high school class, there's a reason, and I think it is generally like betting on pedigree is a wise thing to do, especially when you have multiple bites at the apple as OKC does, or you are, one of the best handful of teams in the league. It's if you bet on pedigree, there's a reason guys are ranked where they are.
Especially because I don't trust that college coaches are using these players in their best interests, for their best purpose of winning college games.
No.
Sabrina,
that's also really one of the interests. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Would you trade Anthony Davis for Kevin Durant?
100%. Why is that a question?
I'm trying to find somebody who wouldn't. If it was just straight up.
I assume the Lakers would have to attach something to Anthony Davis to get Kevin Durant.
You think?
Yeah.
If he's asking out, do you think? Well, I guess they would have to beat somebody's offer. But who is offering somebody as good and potentially valuable as Anthony Davis?
I'm gonna put I'm gonna put the specific scenario aside for a second. But if the sequence of events goes to a place where the Nets are considering Kevin Durant, they are not trying to compete now or whenever that would happen. Their timeline is pushed down the road.
Remember,
I would suspect
all those picks to Houston makes any difference.
I would suspect. Well, they got a couple. They got some back in the
Harden trade, right? Yeah.
I would suspect that if they got to that place where they were trading Kevin Durant, that it would be complete, like full rebuild, and so they would want young players and future draft stuff. That would be my guess.
To OKC.
That would be my guess.
What if
we did before you got here? We did laugh, or at least I laughed about it because I wanted to filibuster the stuff that could get me in trouble. That if they get to that place, the two places with the most young prospects, high level prospects / picks are OKC and the Warriors. Send them back to one of those.
What if it was a 3-team trade?
Kuminga.
Pool.
What if it was like a 3-team trade where like all of the things that Brooklyn would want in a trade where they're rebuilding, breaking down and rebuilding would go from Golden State to Brooklyn. KD goes from Brooklyn to LA. Golden State gets Anthony Davis.
I don't want to watch that Golden State team. Do you have any idea how insufferable Aaron was when they won Game 6?
You know what?
I'm not attaching Anthony Davis to that team.
You know what?
I'm just trying to find
Sabrina,
the
you were
craziest
here in
situation
confidence.
here.
Aaron, you like publicly expressed how insufferable you were. I listened to the hook the next day.
I recorded with him. It was brutal.
I wasn't insufferable. I was emotional when it happened.
That's not for you to say,
You were
Aaron.
emotional at the very end.
All right. Here's my thing. Here's my thing though. Who like
Wait. Hold on. Well, you got it. You put the J. Okay, yeah, you put it up there.
why wouldn't the league be rooting for that though? Anthony Davis gets traded away from LA. Maybe Kyrie goes to LA too. Maybe yeah. So Brooklyn has to take on Russ's crappy contract.
Okay.
Kyrie and KD to LA.
So you're
AD
putting
to-
Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons and taking away all of their scores.
Will Ben Simmons or Jonathan Isaac play an NBA game first?
Will Ben Simmons
Simmons.
or Russell Westbrook make a bank shot first if they were to play alongside each other?
Oh, Westbrook. He just tries so many more. It's a volume proposition.
It would be funny though if it was Simmons. No, so Jace is saying that he wouldn't trade AD for KD. AD offers us better odds for winning titles now and later than KD just based on age.
Y'all go ahead with this one.
KD is just better at basketball by quite a bit than Anthony Davis. By a lot. Like he's Anthony.
I think there are certain things that Anthony Davis is better at than Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
but not enough.
Yeah, annoying me being one of them. Yeah, I find
Aaron, this is a question you can answer actually.
Okay.
If the Lakers acquired Kevin Durant, how would Kevin Durant annoy Anthony?
In all ways.
Because it would happen somehow. I am positive.
how often would he quote tweet?
Well, you
me?
know what's funny is you know Andy Liu from the Light Years boys.
Mhm.
There's a funny kind of like mostly joking, but like partially like there's truth in every joke. Is sort of blamed for running KD off, so it would definitely be Anthony who's blamed for running KD off.
Andy and I could start a podcast where we just talk about the ways that we ran off Kevin Durant.
The good thing is, what Kevin Durant just signed an extension, right?
He has 4 years left. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Who wouldn't want Kevin Durant with 4 years left? Anthony,
I
obviously.
No, I want. I'm all aboard on Jace. Jace is
It's
the one.
so weird to
who
me that you like your namesake Anthony Davis you hate so much, and then you named your child after Avery Bradley, who you despise so much.
Well, as anybody who is watching this on Facebook would know, one, I changed
Wait,
my
we're on
name
Facebook too?
from Anthony to Fred.
Hold on.
when I was a
Let's
kid.
let's get the conspiracy theories flying then. If we're on Facebook,
Yeah, Dad, if you're watching, don't.
let's go.
But yeah, I have never been particularly fond of the name Anthony. I did that for professional reasons when I started doing this stuff. But
Tinfoil hat Anthony is my favorite Anthony. So if we're on Facebook, let's let him fly.
look,
Let's
it
go.
doesn't get much more ridiculous than a 3-team trade that sends Anthony Davis to Golden State and Kyrie and Kevin Durant. I don't think I'm topping.
Oh no,
anytime soon.
that's not even in your top 5 of trade machine nonsense.
Oh no, we're not talking about the snake story again. That was terrifying.
All right, so the Lakers are at 35.
Mhm.
The Woj is at 32. Indiana
Which
and,
means
and the
which
Magic
means
have
the
already
draft
picked.
itself is still in the teens.
Yeah, right. So with 3 picks left, Sabrina, is there anybody on your big board that you have your eye on?
Honestly, not really. Yeah, nobody that I watched in college here who's that interesting to me.
We know who you don't want though.
Yeah, I've spent
I mean,
a lot
which
of
is-
time
which
this
is
week
pretty
just
much-
like
that- I mean,
clowning on Duke players. honestly.
That is just as valuable as who you do want.
Mhm.
I kind of like the idea. So I think they need a wing. I don't think there are any wings left that like knock my socks off. I think the league is kind of wising up, and I don't think decent wings are even going to last into the second round anymore. And if you're asking for somebody to play in a role where you're need them to help out a little bit next year, it has to be a limited, fairly easy role. I wouldn't mind going after like if it has to be not a wing,
So you don't
I'd
want
rather
like
go center over guard.
you don't want that G League kid, right? Jaden Hardy.
No. No. So we got
What about that Gonzaga guy, Nemhard? Is he still
left on the
available?
board.
No,
Ty
he's
Ty
going to
Washington.
it.
They
He's going to
say
Indiana right
is
now.
left.
Oh, he's going to Indiana. Okay.
Who is?
Nemhard.
I like Nemhard.
Big point guard, 6'5" point guard from Gonzaga is going to. I think.
Yeah.
Did I actually? Hold on. Did I scoop Woj? Hold on.
No, he tweeted out Nemhard earlier, and he misspelled his name
That's my
from Gonzaga.
that's my Eastern
Dream
Conference
is
game.
like crazy behind. Mark Tatum just showed up for pick 31.
That is my Eastern Conference team, the Pacers. What?
Actually, I take
Sabrina
that
cocking
back.
her head to the side.
Wait, like the one that you like root for or scouts?
I mean,
Or-
no, root for. I guess root for.
Caleb Houston has been
Houston.
selected
Which
by
one of
or
your
is
top 5 is on Indiana?
Which one of my top 5?
Your top 5 all-time players. Which one's from the Pacers?
Oh no! It's because their president and their GM were in Portland when I was there.
Oh,
So I root
Pritchard's
for them.
there. Yeah.
Pritchard
gotcha.
and Chad Buchanan's the GM.
Okay.
So
Okay. That makes sense.
I root for them.
So Caleb Houston from Michigan is going to Orlando. That
Houston,
takes him off of the board.
He's okay.
Houston.
Houston.
What do we think about EJ Liddell?
He is a kind of stiff, big. He can shoot a little bit. He's got a little bit of skill. I worry about him in the modern game. I worry about him switching on to guards defensively.
Got it.
He's a big body. He can shoot it a little bit. He's good. He's a good player. And I think most places had him going in the first round. And I think he could, wherever he goes, I think he is somebody that can he's older. I think he could contribute some in the NBA next year. I just worry about him getting cooked defensively, switching on to guard.
Got it.
But I mean, look, it's the second round, so right, there's not a whole lot of perfect prospects left.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate just like finding a 4-year college guy who just knows how to play basketball. You know, like that's.
Jace, I'm not really high on Reggie Miller all time.
The opposite of what you just asked for, Sabrina, I think is Kendall Brown from Baylor.
Yeah, exact opposite.
And I think I would rather go with Kendall Brown personally. I just don't know. It's like the Clippers got into this issue there for a while, right? Where they kept on drafting win now guys, and it wound up being these guys who, like, if they reached their ceiling, were win now, but their ceiling wound up being lower than NBA caliber.
We're talking about the Doc Rivers years.
Yeah, the Doc Rivers, like all of their picks were just guys who, he figured
Because they kept drafting
could
Carolina
slide
guys.
right in.
I can't.
The Marcus
mention it.
Pages and Bryce Johnsons of the world.
Did you enjoy saying that, Sabrina? You
totally
like
did.
saying that just a little much.
I mean, yeah, Doc sent his kid off to Duke and then decided to only draft Carolina guys for the next 4 years.
I think
And
for me,
his son was possibly the single worst rotation player in NBA history his rookie year.
who
Doc's kid.
Austin. Yeah.
wasn't?
I'm not even like I'm not trying to be funny.
No,
Austin
I
Reeves-
thought Ingram took that title from him. Ingram,
Austin
his
Reeves'
rookie year
rookie
was
Not
really
Reeves,
bad.
Austin Rivers.
Rivers, yeah, Austin Rivers.
Austin Reeves' rookie year was
Austin
fine.
Reeves Austin Cooper will tell us he was the key to a juggernaut last year. Austin Rivers. I do that all the time with. Well, actually, I'm not going to say I do that all the time because never mind. With someone and the Kings goalie. Never. It doesn't matter. Austin Rivers was the single. I'm not even trying to be funny. Last I checked, he was his rookie year, he was the single worst rotation player in NBA history.
the draft rights to Jalen Duren.
I'm pretty sure Brandon. Maybe it was like the worst, like second overall pick ever. Then the worst
Fine.
season that a
Brandon
second
Ingram
overall
was
pick.
pretty terrible as a
He was
rookie.
really
Bi was
bad
not
as
good
rookie.
as a rookie.
Yeah.
He was not so good as
I
a rookie.
enjoyed that team though, the 16-17 team.
He was not so good as a rookie.
Yeah.
He
got better.
So I can't say who, but Anthony, you and I talked about this earlier. Who I like the best at 35 is still available. But
Excellent.
we cannot speak on that publicly. Actually, and if he doesn't get picked, we can't speak on it at all. And I'm not saying he does have fans in the organization. I'm not saying that that's the organization's choice. I'm saying that would be my choice.
I think I'm looking at Kendall Brown and the person that you're talking about, Aaron, who I'm technically allowed to say, but I don't want to.
No,
say.
that would not be good. Don't do don't do that.
Did Jabari Walker get picked yet?
I don't believe so.
No.
Oh wait, Trevor Keel's fourth on the big board. Fourth on Jay Billis's big board. Sabrina.
What are they watching? The guy got benched for a team, like, for a player to
It's Jay
decide.
Billis's board, so
Jay Billis is saying Duke.
by the way, the corpse of Corey Maggette right now is probably somewhere on Jay Billis's big board still. He
I would
probably
take the
still thinks
corpse of
Elton
Corey
Brand can
Maggette
play.
over Trevor Keels.
What about Elton
Corey
Brand?
Maggette would eat in today's NBA. All the twerking he did for fouls back then, he'd be elite.
Yeah, but he couldn't shoot it.
I think he'd figure it out.
By the way, one of my favorite YouTube clips is you guys can, well, people are watching on YouTube, so after the show is over, watch it. There is Corey Maggette, when he played for the Warriors, had the most egregious travel in NBA history. He had like a mid post ISO touch and literally
Wound up at the
changed his
3-point
pivot-
line.
literally changed his pivot foot 7 times.
I know the most
Before he
egregious travel that I can think of has got to be Vladimir Radmanovich with the Lakers against the Celtics in the finals. Do you remember this? It was a fast break.
Yeah, he took 19 steps.
It was unbelievable.
I think that one got called though.
No, did not.
That one didn't
No,
get called.
did not.
Did not get called.
I also like the ones LeBron has a couple of these, and Russ has had a couple of these. Not just with the Lakers, with the Lakers and with other teams,
Yeah.
where guys will just like their brains will shut off. They'll catch the ball like in the backcourt, and they'll just start walking up the court.
Yeah, I love
with
that.
The ball, like carrying the ball like a football. Like, hey, brother, you got to put that on the floor at least once.
I just love that the refs sometimes just let it go because no one's defending them.
You gotta put that on-
Toronto
you gotta put that on the
selected
deck at
Christian
least
Coloco
once. You
at
remember when,
20 at 33.
when Lamar just
again?
like walked the ball in,
Say,
right?
say that again.
Toronto just
Coloco.
selected Christian Coloco at number 33. So he
Hey,
is
Anthony.
off of the board.
Hey, Anthony, who was my pick?
Huh? Well, that was somebody who.
Who was my pick?
And I went and I looked at his stuff too, and I was like, man, he makes a lot of sense.
Who was my pick?
That was your pick.
Mhm.
I didn't know if I was allowed to say that.
No, now that he's gone, you can.
Well, now you're tampering.
Isn't Coloco a big?
Yeah, he's 7-1.
He is, that's what-
Arizona. Yeah, he's
It's
That
a
whole
great
spiel-
lob catcher. Oh my god.
That whole
He had
spiel
some
I just did a
ridiculous-
second ago when I was like, hey, if it isn't going to be a wing, may as well be a big. Yeah, that's who I had in mind because I know I couldn't say his name because that was somebody that Aaron told
He
me
was outstanding in the tournament this year. Really, really good.
about. Yeah. Fucking Toronto.
He
I
did
hate
have,
that
he had
there are
fans in
smart
the
teams
organization
out there.
too. I'm not sure he would have been the pick, but he had fans in the organization and he would have been my pick.
I miss
think he's
when
got a-
the
I think he's
league
got a
was
real
so
chance.
much dumber, and the Lakers had such a better edge over dumber teams when they had like better
I
executives.
mean, the years that we drafted like Darius Morris and Andrew Gallup, like those years.
What was it?
Shout out Michigan.
Derek Character from UTEP.
Oh my God, Derek
Yeah.
Character. Dear Lord.
that dude was shaped like a basketball, and they were like, he might be athletic. What?
Earl Clark.
Hey, Earl Clark was a D'Antoni superstar.
Oh, I did like Earl Clark on the Dan.
Remember when
Think
D'Antoni
backpack
started
Earl
playing?
Clark?
He started playing
Earl Clark
Earl
instead of
Clark
Pau Gasol?
over Pau Gasol. And I was just like losing my mind.
The things that we have done to the Gasol brothers over the last decade are just, oh man.
All right, so the
Rough.
Thunder are
It's rough.
targeting Jalen Williams, which means that not officially, but the Lakers are essentially on the clock.
I mean, the Lakers are on the clock. Make your picks,
And-
Sabrina.
Again, I'm
I'm-
telling
I'm-
you, not Trevor Kills.
Justin Lewis. Justin Lewis is the guy
Who's
that. No,
Justin
not
Lewis?
Marquette. No, Kendall Brown.
Kendall Brown. Yeah,
Kendall
that's
Brown is the
one.
guy that I'm hoping for. Get some athleticism, some young legs. You're going to be rebuilding in 2 years anyway, and that's
Why
what
did
I'm
I agree to do
impressed
this?
I was told you weren't going to be drinking either because you were working.
I'm having wine. and it is my first drink of the
That
it is my
doesn't
first drink of the day, which
Wine
frankly-
doesn't count.
which to be fair is kind of uncommon
That's
for me.
yeah, that's remarkable, honestly.
Wine doesn't count.
Not that I was
telling
going to
that
be
to
working
Jen.
in case
Mm.
It's
I
just
got any-
grape juice.
in case I got any phone calls that needed to be answered. We're past that now.
All right. So who are you predicting it is, Aaron? Go ahead and get yourself fired.
What?
That was a great face. I'm so glad we made that happen.
I'm predicting the guy Sabrina hates. I'm predicting that. Keel.
I don't want to hear that. I think you're just saying that to.
I am, in fact.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say I know who
I'm
it is.
hoping for
I'm
Brown.
not gonna say I know who it is. I can't do that.
Of course, of course.
I have a guess though.
I can't
Aaron,
believe-
text me your guess.
Educated
went so
sex-
high.
No. No.
Okay, so
Aaron,
who
text
did-
me your guess. Text me
OKC
your guess.
pick?
No.
Text me your guess.
No.
Just tell me I'm right.
No.
Jalen Williams. Okay.
So that's the pick before.
Yeah. So we're next.
Lakers are on the clock.
You guys have
So
been at
is
this
Aaron.
for
So are
70
we all.
minutes before pick.
Yes, we have in fact.
The they're the colors are already on there as if they've already made their pick.
No, it's because
It
they're
is-
up. I mean, it's only 2 minutes in the second round.
It's crazy to think that this hasn't been leaked already. Like, this is something I've been marveling at all week is Pelinka took over for Magic and immediately plugged all leaks. Immediately.
Well,
And yet we have Aaron here.
Yeah.
look,
Do I have more power than ESPN? Who's to say? Woj, get at me.
the Lakers pick is in, by the way.
Max
Is it?
Christie. Who the fuck is Max?
Who?
I'm staying out of it. I'm staying.
What's the name?
I'm staying out of it.
Max Christie isn't even on the big.
Okay, so he's on Ricky's at 37. Wing from Michigan State.
All right.
I mean,
you know
if-
what? I am sitting this out, and I just want to. I need this in real time. I'm just gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch.
You
y'all
have it
cook
in real time.
I'm gonna watch y'all cook in real time.
If Ricky has him at 37, then I have no problem with the Lakers taking him at 35.
All right. I got to find final projections. I got to find like what he said about. Oh, he didn't even say anything about him.
Let's see. Did he do a full mock draft?
I don't
of
think
all
he was
60,
on the
or-
Ringers thing.
He's not even on Kevin O'Connor's like full.
Oh wait, he
No.
has to be.
I don't
He's
think
gotta
he
be.
is.
He
That's
has to. Be.
crazy.
He has to be.
The Ringer draft guide.
Max Christie. Oh, there he is. Max Christie, wing from Michigan State, all the way up at 27. All right, I feel a little better.
Shades
Wow.
of Chris Middleton and Jeremy Lamb. Those are very different directions a player's career could go.
The key is playing with Giannis. All right, so I'm just going to read from Kevin O'Connor then.
There you
Pluses. Looks the part as a shooter with smooth shooting mechanics. I like that. Even when running off screens, I like that even more. With good touch from the line and inside the arc, he just needs to extend it. Oh, God, he's a mid-range shooter. Okay.
It says looks the part of a shooter and also says that he's 31.7%.
32% from three-point range, where you're shooting from closer.
Yeah, what did he shoot from the line? Yeah, that's more important for college
I don't
guys.
see. It's not
I can pull it up
listed
from
here.
He shot 82% from the line. I like that.
What does that
Much
tell
better.
you?
That more.
Did you just say,
projectable.
82.
Okay.
I don't
82
know.
is good.
I
In
come
college? Are you
from
kidding me?
82 is really good in college.
back in my day.
Oh God, we get
82 is
I
league
love
average.
tinfoil hat, Anthony. I don't
not-
love back in my day, Anthony. I don't like old man Anthony.
Also, your day is like 3 years before mine.
It was a
Back-
glorious 3 years, Sabrina.
Back in your day,
Those
what?
3 years, the league just fell off a cliff.
Back in your day, what, Anthony?
All right, so I'll
82%
continue
from the
reading.
line is awesome.
No. Back in your day, what?
Back in my day, like 82 was like average for a guard. It
In
was like
college?
fine. It was
He's a
fine
wing,
for a
first of
guard.
all.
Yes. First of all, he's
It's
a
the
wing.
same line. Why would it be any different in
I
college?
know, but you said for a guard.
No, he's a wing.
Yeah,
You can't
he's
judge him against
6'6".
guards.
He's like a shooting guard.
It depends on the
Six-
wingspan, though, right?
He's a wing.
Kind of
He-
measurables we looking at.
Go back and look at 82% in college is really good, and it's also
very good.
6'6",
And-
189. He's
and
not
it's
very-
also it is also the most trans
yeah.
the
that
way
and
you
rebounds.
measure somebody's
Translatable
shooting
skill
ability,
for
shooting,
their
yeah.
stroke is
Because I remember when we
Yeah.
drafted
It's
Ingram, it was like,
repeatable.
oh, he shot 40% on threes, but he only shot 60% from the line.
Yeah.
Which one
he
held
turned
up?
himself into a good shooter.
I'm
but
just
yes.
saying it took some
But
time.
yes.
Yeah.
6'9" wingspan.
Capable shooter off the bounce, though he largely pulls up from mid-range using one or two dribbles. He could someday develop a side dribble 3. He also flashes potential hitting contested shots off the bounce, including fadeaways and spin moves. He won't do any of that with the Lakers. Selfless playmaker who keeps the ball moving on offense. That's good. Whether he's swinging it around the arc or locating an open man, he has vision. He just needs seasoning. Versatile defender with a blend of quickness and length to contain multiple positions. He plays hard and has excellent fundamentals, meaning there aren't any qualities he lacks to excel as a multi-positional stopper. Minuses. He lacks burst off the dribble. There isn't much explosion with his first step, and he doesn't have a second gear on drives. Without great athleticism, he struggled trying to score around the rim in college. He doesn't handle contact all that well and doesn't get to the free throw line with any regularity. Turnover prone, he too often dribbles into traffic or throws interceptable passes without much velocity behind them. He's lean and needs to get stronger. He is only 189 at 6'6".
Okay.
It's like more
So-
than Chet, isn't it?
So now the positives as it relates to the Lakers.
I just read the positives
No,
before
no,
the
no, no, no,
negatives.
no, no, no. I mean, as it relates to the Lakers.
Okay.
Not you reading Kevin O'Connor. Now I can actually talk about this because it's official.
Okay.
First of all, he's light skinned. And as I've told you, in 2 years, the entire NBA is going to look like me. So that's number one. Light skin.
Kobe disagrees with your assessment as to whether
I
or
feel
not
like
this is
the
good.
NBA is even lighter than you, Aaron.
In 20 years, everybody's going to look like me or maybe lighter.
Yeah.
Tell me that Chet doesn't look like Tyler Hero just stretched.
I want to hear the positives as it relates to
Okay.
the Lakers. Let's go,
So-
Aaron.
You
So-
said lighter than Aaron, so I decided Chet was the time to make that joke.
Chet is the talking point.
Mhm.
Chet is, in fact, lighter than me, yes. So he'll do just fine in Oklahoma City. So all of those things that you said as positive things are true. I think he can in 10 minutes a game next year. Look, the Lakers needed wing size guys, and he's going to be able to guard. He's a good defensive player from college. Michigan State, Tom Izzo, if you don't guard, you're not going to play.
Mhm.
So I think he will be effective guarding for 10 minutes, 15 minutes a game. The stroke is pure, as evidenced by, well, I mean, if you just look, Kings are trading, it doesn't matter. The stroke is pure as evidence. If you just watch him, the stroke looks good, and he's a good free throw shooter. But those negatives, look, he isn't a great athlete. He can get himself, and he has gotten himself in trouble trying to do too much off the bounce. those are things that are not going to be an issue.
Right.
Because
Why would he be creating
he's
If
not
he
himself
going to
off
be
the
three
bounce?
times, LeBron
He's
might
not going to
go
be
over and
creating off the
actually physically move him from the court.
He will if he dribbles the ball 100 times in NBA games next year, I will be shocked.
Who dribbles more, him or Clay next year?
Oh, Aaron's favorite player is off the bounce, Clay.
Oh god. If Clay dribbles once or maybe twice, he's okay. But Clay trying to get in his bag is not the thing.
Clay has more of a clutch than he has a bag.
That is not the thing. But I think I think Christie is somebody that can play next year. And again, right? It's a second round pick. You're not like these are guys that are not. There's a reason guys are first round picks and second round picks. But I think he is somebody we've all said that the Lakers need more like 6'6" to 6'8", 6'9" guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a guy that's going to provide some spacing. He can shoot it. And the minuses are going to be minimized because he's not going to be asked to do those things that he can't do.
Yeah, I don't. It's a second round pick. Like, it was funny today all day where people, when the Lakers got when they bought the 35th pick, people immediately started penciling. Oh, here's some guy who's gonna help. He's still a second round pick. This is still.
No, I think he can't. No, it's like help. Yes, but the Lakers are in a position where just like competent rotation players, cheap competent rotation players for 10 to 15 minutes, like every second or third night, that helps.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that like people were penciling in because Reeves had the success that he did, and because the Lakers have found like Talen Horton-Tucker has outperformed his draft spot at 46. Like, Lakers fans on Twitter were basically going out there and saying, all right, whoever they get at 35 is going to be amazing. And it's like, well, let's let that guy be a second rounder.
Right.
And then we can go from there. Michigan State guys drafted at 35 have turned out pretty well.
I mean,
Ooh.
certainly one of them.
There's at least one that I can think
You're
of.
telling me Christie is destined for the Hall of Fame already?
At the very
Will
least,
he
he can
be-
host a podcast.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hey, if he wants to host a
Christie
podcast,
will be on my
if he
show.
wants to host a podcast after every finals game, I'm with it.
Does he have to be playing in said finals games?
I mean, to be fair,
annoys me that, like, we have
Danny
no-
Green is not going to be playing in a lot of games to start next year, and he's going to be hosting podcasts, so maybe not.
It just annoys me that the Lakers have no cap space and they can't like extend these second round picks for longer than 2 years. There's not a lot of upside on the back end, you know.
Yeah, it is
Max isn't related to Doug in any way, right?
not that I'm aware of, but
Would that be a problem?
It probably would have come up, but it would be a problem.
would you feel better or worse about it if that was
Worse,
I
way
would
worse.
feel better about it.
I feel way worse because I
I like the
watched Doug
pedigree.
Christie. I watched Doug Christie in Sacramento.
Jaden Hardy's fit is
Oh man,
chef's kiss. Especially he came out coordinating with his pops. Oh, it's lovely.
that might be the new leader in the clubhouse.
What did you guys think of Paolo's suit?
I don't like the double-breasted, but
Okay.
and I don't know what that stuff was.
And
Like
the stuff
silver
was really confusing
stuff
me. And,
was.
like, the
But
collar
I mean,
was
if
really
it's got
double-breasted
Purple
too.
Rain vibes, I'm in.
Okay, yeah.
This suit has mariachi vibes to it. I got he
No, Jaden's
he's
got a
like
good thing going here. Yeah.
What-
going
Did you
like
just
right
say-
at my heart.
Did you just were like Spanish white guy English, and then you said, and then it's mariachi. You know,
Wait, what Spanish white guy English did I say before that?
no, you did no. I'm just like your normal English, and then
Yeah.
as soon as you say mariachi, it's mariachi. You're rolling
Yeah.
R's that don't exist.
You know what's funny is that there are certain words that I do that with and certain ones that I don't. Like,
You know what it reminds me of? So I watch Way Too Much Food Network. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Giada. You know Giada De Laurentiis.
Of course.
So I don't even think she has a show anymore. Now she just like shows up to make googly eyes at Bobby Flay, it seems. But so she had the show, I don't even remember what it was called. And she would make Italian dishes, and she is of Italian heritage. I believe she was born here, but I think she's first generation born in America. And so she would say, like every dish, okay, we're doing this ravioli and there's peas in it and ricotta and whatever. And then she'd get to, and then on top of it, we're going to grate some Parmigiano Reggiano. Wait, what did you just, what?
Yeah, it's like for some reason there's
There
just
are
some
certain
words that
just require
Yeah.
you to,
yeah, like when I say enchiladas, like that I have to say it that way because if I say enchiladas, I feel like my grandma's gonna come down and give me one of those. She's gonna fire a chancla across the universe
Right,
at
and
me.
it will connect.
I like that you said come down and not come up as you've been saying for David Stern all day.
Yeah, you've been on David Stern's head. What's going on with that?
All right. Well, now
My
that the
favorite
Lakers
thing
have,
to that, like that tweet. So I fire off that tweet. And most people got like the punch. The punchline was the looking up. That was the
Yeah.
reason I fired off that tweet. But people are like, "Hey man, he did veto CP3." It's like, what are you talking? That's what you're focusing on right now.
That is what is sending him to.
I just sent this dude to hell, and you're like, well, actually, he didn't.
That is so. All right, Lakers fans, hold on. People, somebody in the chat, tell me, Lakers fans, do you think that if David Stern is in a place where he would have to look up at, it would be due to his vetoing the Chris Paul trade?
Yes.
no.
Wait, no. Are no, it's all right.
I almost feel like no is the worst answer because then I'm suggesting that David Stern has done some,
Did worse things.
I would say
I
the
mean-
dress code might be up there.
The fact that
Yeah, I
that
mean
he
that was
put
overtly
that-
racist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the overt racism in the dress code, and then all of the drug stuff, and then as soon as he got out of the NBA, he invested in a whole bunch of weed companies. So you have institutional racism on top of the overt racism.
Why are we just like dancing on the grave of David Stern? How has this turned into this?
I just want to
I'm
say that
always
I'm very
down.
happy that the Lakers did not draft Trevor Keels, and unfortunately, I have to go.
No, we're on Trevor Keel's watch from now on.
Okay. Well,
All
He's an
right.
undrafted free agent, Trevor Keel, maybe?
That man should have just stayed in school. It was a mistake.
I feel bad for this kid. I don't know anything about him.
I have
The smartest person that I
engendered
know is
Anthony
Don't feel
Irwin's
bad for him. He went to
sympathy
Duke.
towards
That's
a Duke
enough
guard. This
reason
is
to
what I've
dislike.
done. I have made Anthony feel sympathy towards a Duke player.
Right. That's enough reason to dislike
This is
him.
an
He went to Duke.
incredible feat I have accomplished here.
They're gonna Ryan Kelly him. He's gonna be their undrafted free
No,
agent.
Ryan
signing.
Kelly was a second rounder. Okay.
That's right.
Oh, I guess that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He was a
I
wing
thought-
too, according to Byron Scott.
If Mike D'Antoni had remained the Laker coach, Ryan Kelly might have been something.
No.
He might have been something.
No, Sabrina.
Hey,
Can I?
look,
I
Him
I can-
playing
I can
small
tell the
forward was
story.
the worst idea.
I can tell this story.
Him
And
playing
I'll
was the
tell.
worst
I'll tell.
idea.
I'll tell a clean version of the story, seeing as I'm trying to convince this person to work with us. But
Oh God. I am terrified.
all right, so it was one of those Spectrum nights when it was those Spectrum blogger nights that they would have us over for.
Mhm.
And I happened to be sitting in between Caron Butler and James Worthy, right? And the whole time I'm there, I'm just like, well, this is insane. This is like at the beginning of my career, and it was just like really cool thing. And I'm having a really fun conversation with Caron Butler about like the evolution of the sport. Anton Jameson, I think, was on the other side of the table, and we were talking about how like the game was evolving like right in front of our eyes. Anton was like, "Yeah, if I played nowadays, I'd be a surefire Hall of Famer."
Easy.
So
Easy,
well,
Anton.
I
Easy,
didn't,
brother.
I didn't. Yeah,
You know my favorite. Sorry to interrupt your story.
he was
my
really
favorite-
good. Dropped 50.
No,
in a
he was
game.
good. So Anton Jameson, when he was on the Warriors, scored 50 or 51 back
Against Kobe.
The second night, he scored 51 against the Lakers. It was not back-to-back games; it was back-to-back nights. The
Yeah.
second night, he scored 51 against the Lakers and Kobe, who also had 51.
Yeah, I think he outscored Kobe. I think he had like 55 to
Or
Kobe's
no,
50.
he had 51. So maybe
Yeah.
it was 51-50.
I think it was 51-50. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and we're having this really nice, pleasant conversation. And Ryan Kelly is playing basketball on the screen. So it's like as pleasant as it can be while we're watching Ryan Kelly play basketball. Ryan Kelly rotates over and should have taken a charge, but instead like jumps up and flimsily fouls somebody who scores an and one.
I
And
respect that.
yeah, and so so James Worthy, if you ever go
Oh, I've
there
heard
to
this story.
I'm telling the clean version. Hospital. Like if you ever go there to Spectrum, Worthy's
Okay.
seat is the first one that's right in front of the TV. They
Yes.
have this super long. They have this really long table that everybody sits at. Everybody eats and watches the game together. And Worthy sits there. He's the first chair in front of the TV because he should be. And Kelly makes this play, and Worthy pops out of his seat and goes ballistic, just absolutely livid. And I'm like, why is he so angry at this random Ryan Kelly charge or not charge? And he drops a line that it was, a little more sailory than this, but he essentially
Off-color,
says,
should we say?
yeah, he goes like, that's why you went to Duke and not to Carolina because we wouldn't accept that bullshit.
Is there a
don't
makeup artist on
understand
this? Is there a
how
makeup
a-
artist on this? Because I need some powder or something.
A Duke guy not taking a charge apparently is the
A
punchline. of
Duke
the
white
story.
guy.
I
A
know.
Duke white guy. Not
I do have an
on-
update.
Yeah.
So Keenan on Twitter.
Who's
says-
your mama?
Yes. He has informed me that Max Christie went to the same high school as Jimmy G, so I am now officially out.
Ah, man.
Oof.
I mean, Max Christie is good looking, so, but
Not like Jimmy G, man.
just-
Wow.
Jimmy G, that's your guy. Jimmy G, is it? Jimmy G, your guy?
On that note, I should probably
That was
go.
quick.
Jimmy G does it for you.
I should go.
I mean, Jimmy G's good looking, but that motherfucker cannot play quarterback. So
That
this is
was
my
with
concern.
the quickness. That was just immediate.
I get myself. in
Jimmy
trouble if I
G's
went to
got it.
Garoppolo, Honestly.
Okay, all right. Well,
All right. Some other time.
oh no, I'm
Bye, guys.
texting you immediately. No, we're
Yeah.
It sounded like there's a story here with the way you leaving with the quickness. It sounds like there's a story. I'm texting you immediately, Sabrina. You didn't open
thank you
up
very
a
much,
can of
Sabrina,
something.
for hopping on with us. And I'm nonstop texting her pictures of Jimmy Garoppolo from here on out. That is what's happening. It's like not.
I am not because I want this national nightmare to come to an end. Can he go somewhere else, please? Cleveland's gonna need a quarterback this year.
You're talking to somebody who roots for a Kirk Cousins team, man. You can.
You and
chill.
I have talked about this. Yes.
You can chill. All right, so we are sitting here. We'll have a quick reset and look at where things stand. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the 35 pick. To be completely honest, I wanted a little bit more athleticism. That's why I liked Brown instead of him. But the Lakers have been terrible as a shooting team for so long that getting somebody whose job will be to basically spot up and shoot when he's out there
EJ Liddell finally coming off the board, but go ahead.
that's who's that came off the board.
EJ Liddell.
Hmm.
Who,
Um,
for some people, he was a first round grade for a
The
lot of
Lakers
people.
don't have any more money to be able to buy another pick, do they? They can't get back in just
no.
with.
Oh well, I don't.
Did they use it all on 35? It wouldn't surprise me if they did.
So it was.
They had
I don't
4.5
know.
mil.
It was so you have a pool of whatever 6 something, and available for the Lakers to use for this pick was four and change. I
Yeah.
don't know how much was spent, but I do not anticipate the Lakers getting back in buying another pick. No.
I mean, they've had. I mean, obviously with Reeves, they've had success with undrafted guys, and one path that a lot of guys, especially at this stage of the draft, tend to take is telling teams not to draft them so that they can have a little bit more flexibility coming out of college. So this doesn't by any means mean. Actually,
I mean, look, the Lakers
aren't done for the night.
Jesse and Joey have had, and that you're right about that, because you will hear once the draft ends, you will
Yeah.
hear news trickling in throughout the night about who is
Free agent signings, training
who
camp,
is
invites,
agreed
and-
as an undrafted free agent to go where, a camp invites, summer league, etc. But it's not just undrafted free agents. It's Jesse and Joey and their teams have done really, and Rob have done really good work the last handful of years at finding whether it's late first round pick, second round picks, undrafted free agents. So I expect, and again, and you said, you mentioned, like, there are some guys who don't want to be drafted in the second round. They would rather be undrafted free agents because it gives them more optionality. And those conversations are had between teams and agents well before this point. So I would expect some names to come across tonight that the Lakers have reached out to some undrafted guys about playing summer league, coming to camp. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Do you think Reeves plays in Summer League?
Yeah, I would suspect so. Yeah, I would suspect so. Yes, I suspect so.
I'd like him to play in like the first 2 games, just kind of get your feet wet.
Yeah,
get
but
some
I mean, the other
run.
part of it is, so I say a lot.
Like most undrafted sophomores play.
Correct.
Like that. That's just Reeves happened to be on a really bad team last year and got a bigger
But
role
that's-
than he would
that's the
normally
thing
get.
Is the Lakers, for a couple reasons. One, because they're the Lakers, but two, because there is a real possibility for the Lakers to be good. You get to play with LeBron, you get to play with AD, but also the Lakers are going to have an opportunity for real rotation minutes for people that they may not get other places, right? There are a lot of teams right now, especially after the draft, that are going to have their first 8, 9, 10 guys, 11, 12 guys really set. And undrafted guys, second round picks, are going to be fighting for G League spots for the 14th or 15th spot on the roster. And as of now, that's not the case with the Lakers, right? So I think the Lakers probably are in a good position to negotiate with undrafted guys, because there's going to be opportunity that there isn't in most places. And you get to live in LA and you get to play with LeBron.
On like, 2 out of 3 nights.
I was trying to be, there's like, we can end this on a positive note, or we can just, oh, wait. Oh,
What?
The Knicks have selected Trevor Keels. Sabrina's dream dies.
Oh man, Sabrina left like 5 minutes too early. She would have enjoyed that.
She was making googly eyes at Jimmy G. So
She thought of Jimmy G for 1 second and said, I gotta go.
yeah, y'all be easy
And-
though.
And just like that, Keels gets taken. I kind of wonder, like, this is going to sound homerish of me, and there's still plenty of
Jace,
drafts
yes, Trey
to
Lance
go.
season. Yes, please, immediately.
What's that?
Oh, I was responding
yeah,
to Jace
yeah.
in the
But so this is going to sound like homerish of me,
Zach, I
but
can't
I don't
answer that.
think my hope is that Brown, being 19 years old and somebody who's a project anyway, like he's somebody who I think if I was him, I would ask not to get drafted and I would pick my destination and I would go to a situation where some smarter organization can mold me better than if I got selected by the Kings now and I'm one of like 7 athletic wings who will never get run for them. That's how I would, if I was advising players like that, where you're a project anyway, go to a situation where they develop those projects. Toronto, Miami, like I would ask to be sent to a situation where they actually have invested resources like the Lakers have in continuing to employ Phil Handy and employing now Darvin Ham as their head coach. Like rebuilding is part of the spiel here, is part of the gig. And I think it gives the Lakers access to players in this draft that they might not normally have.
Absolutely. And you can, again, and the Lakers are in a position where there are roster spots and minutes available. If you can play, you're going to get a chance. And the Lakers can point to very recent success stories. Obviously, there for Lakers fans, it's a point of pain with AC leaving. But the reason he was able to get the money he was able to get was because he was an undrafted guy, played for the Lakers recently, and had an opportunity to show what he can do, was unearthed by the Lakers, developed, got real minutes, started a clinching game of an NBA Finals, won a title, and Austin Reeves
And was
last
shown
year,
the door.
Austin Reeves last. I'm almost out of wine, so Austin Reeves last year, right, was an undrafted guy, showed he
Yeah.
could play, and got started a bunch of games, got real rotation minutes, right? So, and because as we started the show, because the Lakers have those 3 contracts at the top of their roster, and you have to turn the roster, that inherently means you have to turn the roster over and over and over every year. There are, like, what do the Lakers have? 7 guys under contract right now? 8 maybe? Like-
7 until Russ opts in.
So, right, you have 15 and then the two-way guys. So there's 17 rosters, but right? So the Lakers have some filling out of the roster to do. And so I agree with you. If you are an undrafted free agent rookie, there's a lot to like about your situation or your possibilities with the Lakers. So I agree with you that the Lakers, I don't agree. I know this to be true. The Lakers are at the top of the list of their pick of undrafted free agents.
Yeah. Yeah. And
will those guys
they
pan out? We'll have to see, but
they have been for a while. Like one of the things that tends to be reported pretty quickly afterward are these undrafted free agent signings.
You will,
and
you
it
will,
usually
you will hear
tends
of
to
it
be the
tonight.
Lakers at the top of the list.
You will hear of it tonight. Yes.
Yeah. So on that note, I think I am going to call this thing at least, so that I can rest and recuperate before I record the lowdown and wait
The
for
Warriors
more of
must
these.
the Warriors must have somebody they like because they just bought Atlanta's 44th pick. And they have 51, and I think they have 55. So there must be somebody very specifically they like.
Well, with Golden State that they're trying to bring cost-controlled talent on board because they have that.
But the Warriors
insane
are one of
luxury
those
tax
places
bill.
that does not have there are not a lot of roster spots available, and there are not
Well, they're doing it from an organizational
you just don't have
standpoint.
rotation minutes. There's just nobody, right? So
Right. Well, it's like they're the opposite. Yeah, they're the opposite side of the conversation that you and I were just having. Where like if you're one of these draft picks, all right, you can go to Golden State, and they do develop their players really well. They've had success there.
Now,
but I do think like if you're in, I think they bought the. If they bought the 44th pick, and if you're going to be the 44th pick, I might rather go undrafted than get drafted by the Warriors.
I mean, it depends who it is because there are not a lot of rotation. I mean, you're more likely to get a contract if you're a second round pick, especially if you've been identified as somebody that the Warriors are seeking. You're more likely to get a contract, but I wouldn't say you're more likely to have a chance at a real rotation, unless obviously the Warriors have identified somebody.
Rollins is who they identified.
I don't think there are minutes in the rotation next year available for the Warriors unless you're a center, depending on what happens with Kevon Looney in free agency. And will James Wiseman ever play in an NBA game again? But
yeah.
Other than that, the interesting, your point is correct, is what I'm saying, is that there are people who would rather go undrafted because then you have your choice of the best situation for you.
Yep. All right. So we're going to call it here. I'm going to take a deep breath, edit this out, and send out these episodes to go out tonight / this morning. And then I will record a shorter form lowdown that will be scheduled out for tonight / tomorrow morning that will discuss Max Christie and probably talk about some of those undrafted free agents that Aaron and I just finished discussing. So a lot to get to. And oh, by the way, once we get done with tonight, we dive into free agency, we dive into trade season, we dive into lying season. And
we're already in lying season, by the way, brother.
We've been in lying season. I mean, look, the fact that I squeezed myself into this suit means I'm lying to everybody, making people think I could squeeze into this suit. Hell,
You-
the
by
fact
the
that I
way,
just
you
called
are-
it a suit is
You're
a
in
lie.
your drawers up under there, right? You don't have no pants on, I would imagine. Don't play with the people. You don't have no pants on.
So until the next time I talk to you guys, I'm Anthony Irwin. That is Aaron Larsoul. Thank you very much to Sabrina for hopping on and listening to our stupidities. We will talk to you guys soon.